So my name is Matt Raphael Lickup. This is my speech for Com 101, speech 2. You see that? These are my note cards. Okay. That's my audience. So my speech is about feng shui. So feng shui is spelled like feng shui, but it's pronounced feng shui because Mandarin Chinese has like 5 pronunciations for E. With that being said, feng shui originated in ancient China about 3,000 years ago. Well, more than 3,000 years ago. Feng shui literally means wind and water. Got water in the background. So, the literal meaning is wind and water, and the conceptual meaning of feng shui is harmonizing one's environment with the intention of invoking positive energy into that occupied space. So, feng shui uses the familiar ideology of yin and yang, so harmony, balance, and things evening each other out. The earliest references of feng shui could be traced back to the Zhou dynasty. That was around 1050 to 221 BC. Feng shui was primarily used by Taoists in China, which was the primary religion at the time, and they used it to pick out ideal burial sites for their relatives and friends. They believed that picking out these ideal burial sites would prevent calamity and would prevent like misfortune to the future generations of people living there. They also believed that feng shui, my fault, would allow them to avoid natural disasters like floods and typhoons. So again, wind and water. That's where the conceptual meaning and the literal meaning of feng shui coincide. So now that we talked about what feng shui was before in ancient China, we'll talk about what feng shui is today in the modern age. So this will be really fast. In the modern age, the conceptual idea of feng shui remains the same. So harmony and balance, yin and yang and all that. But in the modern day, the only thing that differs is back then it was more about like spirituality, calamity, disaster. Now it's more about like HGTV, if you ever seen HGTV. It's like interior home decorating. The intention is kind of same-ish, where you try to bring out like good vibes, productivity. And the interesting thing about that is we do that even unknowingly. So we like to set up our workspaces so we would be as productive as possible. Like if you had an office, you would set up your office so you could get as much work done as possible. And if you had a bed, you wouldn't set up your bed to do work. To do work, you would set up your bed so you could sleep. Same thing with your kitchen, your dining room. They all have a purpose, and we set it up unknowingly to like increase these yield results, kinda. And that in a way is harmony. That's balance. That's feng shui. And keep in mind that the essence of feng shui is the same throughout then up until now. So in conclusion, what we talked about was that what feng shui means literally and conceptually, so wind and water and harmonizing objects, and what it was used for, so burial sites. Again, it was more spiritual, and they would use it on buildings in their own homes, but primarily it was for burial sites and picking out ideal places, because they believed back then in ancient China they had a belief in ancestor worship. So they would do that for good karma, kind of. So when it was used, so 3,000 years ago up until now, it's crazy to think about. Who used it and where? So Taoist, which was the primary religion in China, and they used it during the Zhou dynasty. So it made sense because they were trying to avoid frequent typhoons and floods. They were near the Yellow River, I think, and that's where the belief came from. Their how much they stress the importance of like wind and water. So to end off, I want to say that this is an informative speech. I'm not trying to put you on to feng shui, or I'm not trying to deter you from it either, but it's really your choice as an individual whether you want to practice it or not. But I want to leave you with this. There's a reason why it originated 3,000 years ago, and we're still talking about it today. So again, these are my note cards. That's my audience. Clap, I need the validation. Thank you. My name is Matt Raphael. Look up, that was my second speech. All right. Cut.